We'll start with the prayers. All of you can recite after me. Based on teachings of Srila Prabhupada from Bhagavad Gita. We would like to understand the intention of Lord Krishna. That's why it's written it as Bhagavad Gita as it is. So please repeat after me. Namavom Vishnu Padaya
Namo Vishnu Padaya
Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale
Krishna Prestaya Bhutale
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta
Srimati Bhakti Vedanta
Swamin Iti Namine
Swamy iti namine
Namaste Saraswate Deve
Namaste Saraswate Deve
Gauravani Pracharine
Gauravani Pracharine
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi
Paschatya Deshatarine
Pachatya Deshatarine
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Prabhu Nityananda
Shri Advaita Gadadara
Shri Advaita Gadadhara
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Srivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama
Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
So today we'll be covering from verse number 24 onwards till 32. The concept is one who has that equal vision. Samadarshinaha means one who is able to see everything in proper perspective. So here, why we are doing all this is because whatever we saw in the 5th chapter is being exactly the same perspectives we find in 6th chapter. So after some time, we'll be able to correlate which are the verses which were in 5th chapter, which we see in 6th chapter, which are elsewhere they connect to the 6th chapter. Elsewhere they connect to the same subject. We'll be able to correlate the entire Bhagavad Gita. So you can recite this verse. Sa nishchayena yoktavyo
Yena Yektavyo
yogo anirvinna chetasa
Yogo Anirvina Chetasa
sankalpa prabhavan kamams
Sankalpa Prabhavan Kamas
tektva sarvana sheshataha
Yatva Sarvana Asheshita
manasevendriyagramam
Manasevendriya Agramam
viniyamya samantataha.
Yamya Samantata.
Once again, all of you can recite this verse. Sanishchayena yoktavyo
Sanichayena Yuktavyo
yogo anirvinna chetasa
Yogo Anirvina Chetasa
sankalpa prabhavan kamams
Sankalpa Prabhavan Kamams
tektva sarvana sheshataha
Tyaktva Sarvana Sheshasataha
manasevendriyagramam
Manasevendriyagramam
viniyamya samantataha.
Viniyamya Samantataha.
So Krishna is saying here, sa nishchayena yoktavyo. So one who is practiced in the process of yoga. So one should engage oneself in the practice of yoga. Anirvinna chetasaha, with undeviating determination and faith. So nishchayena yoktavyo, one who is engaged in yoga, it should be nishchayena. His determination should be strong. Anirvinna chetasaha means without deviation. Undeviating, and he should have a strong faith. Then sankalpa prabhavan kamans, all the material desires which are born of false ego, tektva sarvan asheshataha, everything should be discarded without exception. Then manasaiva indriya gramam, manasa eva indriya gramam, the mind and all the set of full senses, viniyamya samantataha, it should be regulated from all sides. So this is, see, because one has to reach to the perfection of yoga. In this verse, in these 2 verses, Krishna is explaining how to come to that highest perfection of yoga. It is called as yoga ruda. The first part and the last part in the practice of yoga The first action is to give up desires, and the last action is not to think of anything at all. So, in that way, one will be able to achieve perfection in the process and come to the stage of yoga rudaha, one who is very expert in practice of yoga. So, this is the principle how it is being communicated here. So, how should one practice this yoga process? Is with determination, patiently execute the practice without deviation. Already this is communicated in the translation. Then one should be sure of success at the end and pursue this course with great perseverance. Means doing in the halfway, and one should not quit the process because it takes too long or anything. Because perseverance means one should be very he should be very waitful for the process, because to perfect and to come to the highest conclusion, it will take time. And next, not becoming discouraged if there is any delay in the attainment of the success. Because most of the times we are all very we want everything instant, like instant food, instant noodles. We want everything instant. So here it is a process of long deliberation. It will take very long time. That's why it is saying one should not be discouraged if there is any delay in the attainment of the success. So Prabhupada quotes one sloka, Utsaha Nishchaya Dhairya Tat Karma Pravartanat Sangatyaga Sato Vritti Shadbir Bhakti Prashidyati. If somebody to become successful, there are 6 principles in practice. Utsahan, one should be very enthusiastic. Nishchayat, he should be very determined. Dhairyat, one should be full of perseverance and determination. Then Tat Karma Pravartanat, one should be very following the prescribed duties. Sangatyagat, free from all the unwanted association and engaging in the association of the devotees. Sato Vrittehe, in prescribed duties. Shadbir Bhakti Prashadyati, all the 6 principles will be able to enhance in practice of Bhakti Yoga. So for this, there was one small story which Prabhupada narrates in the purport here. There was one sparrow who had laid its eggs near the ocean. And we know ocean waves, they keep coming to the coast. Either it is Paurnami or Amavasya, the capacity of these waves will be very high. So on one such particular occasion, the waves have come to the highest tide and they have swallowed the eggs of the sparrow. The sparrow became very sorrowful and it started threatening the ocean to give back its eggs. And because the ocean never responded to its sparrow took up its determination, it gave a commitment to ocean that it will empty the ocean. It gave a challenge to the ocean. Everybody were laughing. The sparrow started coming, picking up few drops of water and going and disposing them in some other place. So over a period of time, with the unrelented endeavor, this news of the sparrow's determination reached to Garuda. So feeling compassionate for his younger brother, or whatever says same family of the bird's family, so Garuda came forward on behalf of the sparrow and he started threatening the ocean. He said, if you don't deliver the eggs, I am going to completely clean up your ocean. Then ocean could understand the capacity of Garuda and it came back and handed over the eggs to that sparrow. So because this Garuda is an the associate of the Lord and he is all capable in the perspective like the Lord, so he could demand and command the ocean and ocean responded to him and the eggs were given back to the sparrow. So for those who help themselves, Lord helps them. That is a general notation. So the sparrow, because he has done his endeavor. At any particular point, he did not give up, knowing that ocean is too big. It may take for me lifetimes. But it started with its endeavor and help came for him in the form of a superior capacity like Garuda, and he was able to become successful. That is the story for determination. Then what is the role of determination in practice of yoga? The practice of Bhakti Yoga may appear to be very difficult job. Initially, people may feel it is very difficult because we are not accustomed to the process. But if one follows the principles with great determination, Lord will surely help. Because this is a process in which one is trying to satisfy the Lord, one is trying to reach the Lord. So Lord becomes very satisfied and he will become very happy to help It is said that we take one step and Lord is ready to take 100 steps. 99 steps for us. So that one step is the one determination what we are doing. That 99 is done by the Lord. So taking that first step is the thing which we feel like very difficult. So then God helps those who help themselves. This is general quotation which is explained. So one should be very confident, one should be very determined, and one should be very perseverant in his practice. Then one becomes a perfect in the process of achieving perfection in yoga. Then, now how should one practice? So how should one practice this yoga system? I think there is some problem with this video. Okay, this is not a video. This is a story about a son and father. In a village, both son and father used to live. So every night before going to bed, the father used to tell interesting stories for his son. So one day father told him, son, God is omnipresent. He can see us everywhere and anywhere, and nothing is hidden from him. Then son asked the father, you say God is present everywhere, but I am not able to see him anywhere. Father replied to him, we can't see God, but he is everywhere and he can see everyone and everything. As months passed by and a severe famine happened in that village, due to which the father's fields were rendered barren and he had nothing to sell in the market. So he decided to go to his neighbor's farm and steal. Then father went out for stealing. He sat along with his son and entered into the neighbor's field. He instructed his son to sit on a branch of a tree to keep watching and signal him if he sees someone coming towards him, towards the farm. As soon as the father set to gather a crop, his son called him and said, hold on, father. Father questioned, but why? Do you see someone coming here? The son replied, yes, someone is watching us. Then father got up from there and looked around, but he found no one is there. Then he asked his son, who is watching, as I see no one? The son replied to him, you told me that God is present everywhere and he watches everyone and their deeds very closely. Then how will he not see you stealing from your neighbor's farm? Hearing this, the father felt ashamed and dropped his idea of stealing and went back home with a lesson what he's learned. So sometimes what we teach and what we practice, there will be a big difference. The spiritual life is all about practice. Not only what we teach, what we practice is also very important. So Bhagavad Gita, to achieve that perfection means one should be able to give that commitment to practice the principles here. Okay, next shloka. All of you can recite. Shanair Shanair Uparamed.
Shanair Shanair Uparamed.
Buddhya Driti Grihitaya.
Buddhya Grihitaya.
Atma Samstam Manah Krutva.
Atma Samstham Manah Krutva.
Na Kinchit Api Chintayet.
Kinchit Api Chintayet.
Shanair Shanair Uparamed.
Shanair Shanair Uparamed.
Buddhya Driti Grihitaya.
Buddhya Grihitaya.
Atma Samstam Manah Krutva.
Atma Samstham Manah Krutva.
Na Kinchit Api Chintayet.
Kinchit Api Chintayet.
So, Shanai Shanair Uparamed, gradually, step by step. Buddhya Driti Grihitaya, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence. Buddhya dhriti grihitaya atma samstam manah krutva. And that's mind should be fixed on the self alone. Atma samstam manah krutva, mind. Atma samstam should be fixed on the self alone. And na kinchit abhichintaye, and should not think of nothing else. And should think of nothing else. Na kinchit abhichintaye. Chintayet means to think. Na chintayet kinchit api. Now of anything else you should not think. That is the principle here. So this is to become perfectionist. We have to show our sincerity by making a determined effort. That is the principle what is taught to us here. So here by pratyaharaha means by proper conviction and intelligence, one should gradually cease sense activities. Prati aharaha means food. Food in the form of for the senses is different. For different senses, food is different category. So prati aharaha means restraining from eating food for different senses. So how we can restrain? By proper conviction and intelligence, one should gradually cease sense activities. That's why it is called as pratyahara. So how should the mind be engaged in samadhi? The mind being controlled by conviction, meditation, and cessation of all the senses should be situated in samadhi. So this is the process: conviction, meditation, and cessation of the senses. At the time, there is no longer any danger of becoming engaged in the material conception of life, because he's already regulated by his mind. So there is no opportunity of engaging in material activities, material sense gratification. So although one is involved with matter, as long as a material body exists, one should not think about sense gratification. Everything may be available at my disposal, but I am not going to utilize them, or I am not going to get carried away by them and engage in sense gratification. So that is the simple principle here. That is the perfection of engaging in samadhi. So it is said here in the lecture here. A Krishna conscious person should not sit idly, thinking that such a nice philosophy of life should not be disturbed. It is his mission to preach. A yogi may be satisfied with his own elevation, sitting in a secluded place, practicing yoga, elevating himself to transcendental life, and that is his personal concern. But a devotee is not satisfied simply elevating himself. We offer our respects to the Vaishnavas. Therefore, the preacher is the most dearest devotee of the Lord. That is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. They are preaching, they are meeting opposing elements. Sometimes they are defeated, sometimes disappointed, sometimes able to convince. Not every devotee is expert at convincing different people. There are three classes of devotees also, but the endeavor to preach Krishna consciousness is the best service to the Lord, because they are trying, despite opposition, to elevate people to the highest standard of self-realization. So this is what Prabhupada is saying about this perspective. So one should be determined in his effort. Failure doesn't matter. We may get, people may not listen to us, people may listen to us, doesn't matter. We have to do our duty. That's what is the concern here. So then further continue. Yato yato nischalati
Yato
nischalate
manas chanchalam astiram
manas chanchalam stiram
tatastato niyamyaitad
tatastato niyamyaita
atmani eva vasham nayet.
Atmanyeva
Yato yato nischalati
Yato Nichalati
manas chanchalam astiram
Chanchalam Astiram
tatastato niyamyaitad
tatastato
Niyamyaita
atmani eva vasham nayet.
atmani eva vasham nayet.
So Krishna is explaining here. The means to achieve success is explained here. Yato yato nischalati. From wherever and whatever the mind wanders, because of its manas chanchalam astiram, because of its flickering and unsteady nature. Chanchalam astiram. Stiram means fixed. Anstiram means unsteady. Chanchalam means it is moving around, flickering nature. Tatastato niyamyaita. So one must certainly withdraw it from the wherever it is. Atmani eva vasham nayet, and bring it back under the control of the self. So Yato yato nischalati, wherever this mind nischalati wanders around. Manas chanchalam astiram, it is because flickering and unsteady in nature. Tatastato niyam yaitad, by following the rules and regulations, one should withdraw it and bring it back. Atmani eva vasham nayat, and under the control of the self. So what is the nature of the mind? It is flickering and unsteady. So how to bring the senses under full control is one who controls the mind is called as Goswami, or one who is controlled by mind is called as Godhasa. So Goswami knows the means of controlling the senses by serving Krishna with the purified senses, and this is the highest perfection of yoga practice. By engaging in the senses in the service of the master of the senses, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam, Bhakti Ruchite. That is Bhakti's definition of Bhakti is engaging the senses in the service of the master of the senses. So he becomes highest practitioner of yoga and perfectionist of yoga. So Bhagavatam glorifies this process. Daryamanam manoyerhi brahmyadasu anavastitim atandrito anurodhena margena atma vasham nayat. A similar version you see. Atma vasham nayat. Daryamanam manoyerhi. So one who is endeavoring to free himself from material existence. Brahmayed asu anuvastatam. The restless mind, atandrito anurodhena, should be brought back. Margena atma vasham nayat, under the control of adhering to one's prescribed path. Margena atma vasham nayat, bring it back under one's control of the mind. So same similar principle explained in Bhagavatam, in Uddhava Gita, of practicing yoga principle. So sometimes we might have experienced that you are doing some work. All of a sudden you remember some 40 years before or 30 years before, some years before, some incident took place, and you at once remember. Although there is no cause, but it comes. A subconscious state is there and we are getting. That means that the mind is always being agitated. Due to agitation, the things which are stored in the subconscious state, they come out. Just like you agitate a lake or a pond, all the mud from within it comes. But we have to settle down. Then the mud will settle down, and this yoga process is a process of settling down the mind. Therefore, there are so many rules and regulations practically. If you follow the rules and regulations, then this agitated mind will gradually be under my control. Therefore, rules and regulations are required to be followed. Don't do this, don't touch your mouth, don't touch it in that way, don't do it. And there are so many do's, don'ts, and so many do's. So we have to follow that. Following that regularly, the mind will be under your control, and these are the processes. So this is the practical thing, because one has to regulate himself to achieve perfection. That is the point what is being communicated here. Then all of us can recite this verse. Prashanta manasam hiyenam yoginam sukhamuttamam upayiti santarajasam brahma bhutam akalmasham. Prashanta manasam yoginam sukhamuttamam upayiti shantarajasam brahma bhutam akalmasham. So yogi, whose mind is fixed on me, he verily attains the highest happiness. Prashanta manasahiyenam yoginam sukhamuttamam. That yogi who is able to focus on the Paramatma is able to have the highest happiness. Shukam uttamam, highest happiness. Then Brahma bhutam akalmasham, by virtue of his identity with Brahman, Brahma bhutam, he is akalmasham, he is always liberated. Upaiti shanta rajasam, his mind is very peaceful, and his shanta means his mind is very peaceful. And rajasam, his passions are quieted, and he is free from all sin. So this is the perspective of one who has achieved the highest perfection of yoga, that is focusing upon the Lord. So what is this Brahma Bhuta stage? To become free from all the material contamination and become situated in the transcendental service of the Lord. This is known as Brahma Bhuta stage. So can everyone remain in this quality of Brahman? Only those who are fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord, they can attain this stage of Brahman. And what is liberation from modes of passion? To be always engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, or to remain in Krishna consciousness, is liberation from the modes of passion and all material contamination. See, what is mode of passion? It makes us run around. You want to have unlimited desires? Let us go. Start chasing the desires. Let us be, I want to accumulate more, more, more. So this is called as Ugra Karmanaha. They want to do everything, heavy duties, heavy work, continuous, without rest, run around. All these things. If you are not, I earn 1 lakh rupees, I hanker for 10 lakh rupees. I earn 10 lakh rupees, I hanker for 1 crore rupees. So his desires are aparamitam, unlimited. And he keeps running behind without any rest. Too much passionate, that's why. So if one is becoming free from this modes of passion is by becoming situated in Sattvaguna. And Sattvaguna is by engaging in devotion service to the Lord. And there is one word used as Brahma Samsparsha, which actually comes in the next verse. The transcendental contact with Supreme as his part and parcel and rendering service to the Lord is known as Brahma Samsparsha. Samsparsha means touch. Touch with that Brahman level. That Brahman level is Atma is in touch with the Supreme Paramatma. And the nature of this Atma is he is a part and parcel of the Supreme, and the constitutional position of this Atma is he is a natural servant of the Lord. So engage in the service of the Lord is his natural profession. So Prabhupada explains about this verse in one lecture. Now by attainment of that perfect stage of Krishna consciousness, then upayati shanta rajasam. We are agitated due to the passion. Now by practice of this yoga or Krishna consciousness, this passionate hankering will be stopped. Passionate hankering, shanta rajasam, brahma bhutam akalmasham. Then you become aham brahmasmi. I am a spirit soul and I am not this body. And akalmasham means without any deviation, without any mistake, we will be firmly situated in our transcendental position. Means kalmasham means sinful activities. And akalmasha means one becomes free from all sinful activities. Kalmasha means, what do you say kalmasha means?
Contamination.
Contaminations. So we become free from all the contamination. That is what is explained here. Then a similar verse explaining about the nature of Brahma Bhuta from Bhagavatam. Navyavad drudaye yajno brahmaitat brahmavadibihi na muhyanti na sochanti na hrishyanti yato gata. So those who are engaged in the activities of devotional service, the devotees, they feel ever increasingly fresh. Navyavat means fresh. Navya means fresh and new in all their activities. And drudaye, they are very determined in their process. They are the all-knower super soul which is within the heart of the devotee, makes everything increasingly fresh. So they always feel the freshness. This is known as Brahman position by the advocates of absolute truth. Brahma vadibihi, Brahma etad, tat yet no. The knowers of Brahma vadibihi, they explain this as Brahma, the position of Brahman position. In that liberated stage, na muhyanti, who is not, one is not bewildered. Na sochanti, he does not lament. Na hrishyanti, or become unnecessarily jubilant. Yato gataha, this is due to the Brahma Bhuta situation.
Once upon a time, there was a very wise doctor, and he could make medications, medicine that could cure any illness imaginable. This doctor had many children, and one day he traveled to a distant land. While he was away, his children mistakenly drank poison. They became very sick. Some were in pain, some lost their minds, some were close to death. Others were only a little bit sick. When the doctor returned from his long trip, he saw that his children were very sick. All the children, even though ill with poison, were happy to see their father return. "Welcome home, father," they said. "We are so happy to see that you have returned safely. While you were away, we were very foolish. We all mistakenly drank some poison. Please save us from this suffering. The doctor went to work, grinding, sifting, and mixing various herbs. He made a powerful medicine that had a beautiful color, excellent fragrance, and wonderful taste. This medicine was perfect. Bringing the medicine to his children, he encouraged them to drink it. My children, here is a medicine of excellent color, fragrance, and taste. Drink this, and your illness will be gone, and you will be well. Those children who were only slightly ill immediately took the medicine and were quickly cured. The children who had lost their minds refused the medicine. They were confused by the poison in their bodies. They refused to believe that their father's medicine would help them. My poor children, the father said, because you have consumed poison, your thinking has become twisted. When you saw me return home, you begged me to cure you. But when I offered you this medicine, you refused it. If you won't take this good medicine, how can you be cured? Although the children's minds were confused, their father loved them. He had to think of a way to get them to take the medicine. And so finally, the doctor said, "My beloved children, hear me well. I am old and weak and may die at any time. I will leave this medicine here for you. Even if I should die, your sickness can still be cured with this good medicine. Please don't doubt that. I must leave now on another trip, so please remember what I have told you." The doctor then traveled to another land. He sent a messenger home to tell his children of his death. The children were stunned. They had never expected him to really die. They said, "Our father is dead. Now we have no one to rely on." Then the children remembered the medicine that their father had left for them and his words before leaving. In tears, they each took some of the medicine and were immediately cured of their illness. Then, to their amazement, their father returned home. For the first time, they realized how great his love and mercy was for them.
So in this story, we see those who are little crazy or those who are in Sattva-guna will be able to easily accept the instructions of the Lord in the form of medicine. But those who are in Rajoguna and Tamoguna, they are like equipped with like their minds are twisted with poison. They will not be able to accept the instruction. They doubt the existence of the Lord, and they are very adamant in their actions. So Lord is very merciful. He has left us this medicine in the form of acharyas, instructions, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. So practically we can utilize all these things, the holy name, everything and all, and we become free from these contaminations, and we'll be able to associate back with the Lord once we are purified or once we are cured of this material disease. It's a simple principle, but with practical and deep knowledge. Okay. So next verse again, we shall all recite. Yunjan evam sadatmanam
Yunjan evam sadatmanam
yogi vigata kalmashaha
yogi vigata kalmashaha
shukena brahma samsparsham
shukena brahma samparsham
atyantam sukam ashnute.
atyantam sukam asnute.
Yunjan evam sadatmanam
Yunjan evam sadatmanam
yogi vigata kalmashaha
yogi vigata kalmashaha
shukena brahma samsparsham
shukena brahma samparsham
atyantam sukam ashnute.
atyantam sukam asnute.
So study in the self. Yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha, one who is free from all material contaminations. Vigata kalmashaha. Sukena brahma samsparsham. Shukena, one who is very happy. The yogi achieves the highest perfection stage of happiness. Atyantam Shukam Ashnute, and he is in touch with the supreme consciousness, Brahma Samsparsham. So next verse it continues. Sarva Bhutastam Atmanam
Sarvabhutastatmanam
Sarva Bhutani Chatmani
Sarvabhutani Chatmani
Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma
Ikshate yoga yukta
Atma
Sarvatra Samadarshanaha
Sarvatra Samaddarshanaha
Sarva Bhutastam Atmanam
Sarvabhutastatmanam
Sarva Bhutani Chatmani
Sarvabhutani Chatmani
Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma
Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma
Sarvatra Samadarshanaha.
Sarvatra Samadarshanaha.
So a true yogi observes me in all beings. Sarva Bhutam Stitam Sarva Bhutastam Atmanam. In all living entities, Sarva Bhutani Chatman, and also sees every living being in me. He sees the Lord in every living entity, and he sees every living entity in the Lord. Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma. So one who is engaged in yoga, Ikshate, he is able to observe all these things. Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. He is a self-realized man, sees me. Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. He sees me everywhere. So if you open in the, all of you can open 5th chapter, 18th shloka. Have you opened?
Vidya Vinaya Sampanne
Ah.
Brahmane Gavihastane
Ah.
Sheva Swapakecha
Hmm.
Samadarshana.
You read the translation, please.
The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned and a gentle Brahman, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater.
So that with equal vision, the same thing a yogi is able to have with the equal vision. Samadarshinaha, that is a word he used here. Because whatever we see, the perfection stage one has come through Bhakti Yoga, we see he can also attain the same stage by practice of Ashtanga Yoga. So that's why he'll be able to correlate the same stages, Brahma Bhuta, Brahma Samsparsha, all the words, what we have seen in 5th chapter, we also see their existence in the 6th chapter. So how is a Krishna conscious yogi a perfect seer? Because he sees Krishna situated in everyone's heart as Supersoul. The one who is factually in the practice of yoga cannot see so clearly. But a Krishna conscious devotee can see Krishna both in the heart of the believer and as well as non-believer. So what is the position of the Lord towards the jivas? Lord is being the source of all beings. He is like a mother and the maintainer. We see this specific verse in the 9th chapter. We'll come to know that he says, Mata, Dhata, Pitamaha. I am the mother, I am the father, I am the sustainer, I am the maintainer. All the words we see about the Lord. Like Lord himself says about his position towards the jivas. So then he says, Atatvacha Matravad Atmahi Paramo Harihi. That's a sloka which is quoted from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. As the mother is neutral to all the children, so also is the Supreme Father. So Paramo Harihi is like a father, as mother is very neutral to all her children, so also is the Supreme Father. So what is that equality of vision of a yogi? He sees all living entities, although in different situations, according to the results of the fruit of work, in all circumstances remain the servants of the God. So in any position, Jivera Swarupahai, Krishnera Nitya Dasa. So this is his natural position in anywhere. Brahma to living entity to insignificant ant. So everybody is a servant of the Lord. So while in the material energy, he serves the material senses, and while in spiritual energy, he serves the Supreme Lord directly. So he is servant either to this body or to this Prakriti or to the Supreme Lord. In whatever stage he is a servant. He is not a master at any time. So because his eyes were always smeared with the ointment of devotion, the devotee always sees Krishna and nothing else. He sees Krishna and Krishna's energy everywhere. For instance, if you love your child, when you see your child's shoe, you immediately see your child. Or if you see your child's toy, you immediately see your child and hear his voice. Similarly, if we have actually developed love of Krishna, nothing exists but Krishna. When our love for Krishna is actually developed, whatever we see, we will see Krishna only. This is the natural analogy. So quoting from Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says, Sarvani mad dishnataya bhavadbis, charani bhutani suta druvani, sambhavitavyani pade padevyo, vivikta drigbis tadu harhanam me. So this is Rishabhadeva teaching to his sons. He says, my dear sons, you should not envy any living entity. Sarvani maddishnataya bhavadbihi. Be he moving, charani, bhutani, suta, oh my dear sons, or non-moving, dhruvani. Knowing that I am situated in them, sambhavitavyani pade padevo, you should offer respect to all. Vivikta drubis, tadu harhanam. In this way, you offer respect to me. By your vivikta drubbihi. Samadrushtibihi is, vivikta drubbihi is a word used here in Bhagavatam. So next, Krishna further enhances that equality of vision. The result of practicing the spiritual realization and benefits of vision are of practicing equality of vision are described in this verse here. Yomam pashyati sarvatra.
Yomam pashyati sarvatra.
Sarvam cha mayi pashyati.
Sarvam cha mayi pashyati.
Tasyaham na pranashyami.
Tasyaham na prayashyami.
Sachamena pranashyati.
Sachamena prayashyati.
Yomam pashyati sarvatra.
Yomam pashyati sarvatra.
Sarvam cha mayi pashyati.
Sarvam cha mayi pashyati.
Tasyaham na pranashyami.
Tasyaham na pranashyami.
Sachamena pranashyati.
Sachamena pranashyati.
So Yomam pashyati sarvatra, one who is able to see me everywhere. Sarvam cha mayi pashyati, and see everything in me. Tasyaham na pranashyami, I am never lost for him. Sachamena pranashyati, or he is ever lost to me. So for one who sees me everywhere, Yomam pashyati sarvatra, and sees everything in me. Sarvam cha mayi pashyati. Tasyaham na pranashyami, I am never lost. Sachamena pranashyati, nor he is he ever lost to me. So what is his basic principle of Krishna consciousness is, nothing can exist without Krishna, and Krishna is the Lord of everything. That's why it is said as Krishna is Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. You find everything, the cause, the root, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, everything emanates from me. So in that way, Krishna is the origin, the source. And without Krishna, there is nothing. Then what is the superiority of this Krishna consciousness? It is the development of love of Krishna. That is known as Krishna Prema. That is the highest stage what one should come to love Lord. A position transcendental even to material liberation. It is beyond mukti. And the stage beyond the self-realization at which the devotee becomes one with Krishna, in the sense that Krishna becomes everything for the devotee and the devotee becomes full in loving Krishna. So this is the stage, highest stage, what one comes through in the practice of bhakti. And at this stage, Krishna never disappears from the sight of the devotee, nor does the devotee ever lose sight of the Lord. This is known as Uttamadhikari level. So he will be able to see Krishna everywhere. So what happens when a yogi turns into a pure devotee? He cannot bear to live for a moment without seeing the Lord within himself. That is the pure devotee of the yogi of the highest category. So why is that Krishna cannot hear your sincere prayer? Across thousands and thousands of miles, you send television pictures or radio sound waves. Similarly, if you practice yourself, you can always see Govinda. It is not difficult. This is stated in Brahma Samhita. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. You simply have to prepare your eyes and your mind in that way. It's like having a television set within your heart. This is the perfection of yoga. You do not have to purchase a television set. It is there, and God is also there. You can see, you can hear, you can talk, provided you have this set. You simply repair it, and the repairing process is Krishna consciousness. You have all you need within you. For repairing, you will need an expert mechanic. Similarly, you will require the help of an expert to ensure that your machine is working. Sadhu, Shastra, Guru, Vakya, Tinete, Kariye, Aikya. Spiritual realization can be perfected by three parallel processes. Sadhu means saintly persons who are realized souls, and Shastra means authoritative scriptures, Vedic scriptures, and Guru, a spiritual master. These are three parallel lines, and if you place your car or vehicle on these three parallel lines, you and your car will go directly to Krishna. So this is in one lecture Prabhupada was explaining about the perfection in the process. So we all know one great devotee in the Madhva Sampradaya by name Kanaka Dasa. So he was studying under the spiritual master of Vyasa Tirtha. So once Vyasa Tirtha wanted to test all his disciples, because whatever knowledge it has been given to them, like the same, like the Lord is seeing everyone, and Lord is witnesser of everything. So he wanted to prove upon the greatness of the devotees, and he wanted to instruct others also. On one Ekadasi day, he has given one banana to all the devotees and all the disciples, and he said, tomorrow morning you can break your fast by eating this banana where nobody is able to see you. So everybody took their banana, and the next day morning, there's somebody went into a forest, somebody went under the bed, and somebody went under the water, somebody climbed up on a tree. Like that, different people tried to do different things, and they ate their bananas. But Kanakadasa came back with his banana. So when Guru was asking each disciple, how did you eat your banana? Somebody was saying, I hid under a blanket and I ate the banana. So somebody went to the forest and I ate the banana. Somebody went inside the top of a tree. Somebody went inside the water. Like that, they were giving their explanation. But when he saw Kanakadasa, when he was holding that banana, he said, why you have not eaten the banana? No, Kanakadasa said, my dear sir, whatever you have taught, that Lord is a Paramatma and he is a permanent witnesser and sanctioner. So he's witnessing all my activities. So how can I eat when he is able to witness? I could not find a single place where God could not see me. So that's why I'm not able to eat this banana. So this is the perfection. What we have understood when we practice, that is the thing that we have to be very careful that whatever we hear, whatever we understand, whatever we put into practice. So we'll be able to realize all these things because he is in the perfect commitment, connection with the Lord. So that's why they become very recipient of the mercy of the Lord. Okay, next. All of us can recite this verse. Sarva bhuta sthitam yo mam.
Sarva bhuta sthitam yo mam.
Bhajati ekatvam astitaha.
Bhajati ekatvam astitaha.
Sarvata vartamanopi.
Sarvata vartamanopi.
Sayogi mai vartate.
Sayogi
Sayogi mai vartate.
Sarva bhuta sthitam yo mam.
Sarva
Bhuta
Bhuta
yo mam.
Bhajati ekatvam astitaha.
Bhajati ekatvam astitaha.
Sarvata vartamanopi.
Sarvata vartamanopi.
Sayogi mai vartate.
Sayogi
Sayogi mai vartate.
So Krishna is saying, Sarva bhuta sthitam yomam. The yogi, one who knows. Sayogi mai vartate, one who knows that. Sarva bhuta sthitam yomam, that is I and the super soul. Bhajati ekatvam astitaha, one who is situated within all creatures, is that I and the super soul are one. Sarvata vartamanopi, and he remains always in me in all circumstances. Sayogi mai vartate. Means Krishna is saying, I and the Paramatma who stays in all living entities are that one personality. So Krishna is saying, I am that Paramatma. Generally, we don't say Paramatma as Vishnu Paramatma. We always say that it is as Krishna Paramatma. Because it is Krishna who is staying within our heart to be our friend, guide, and philosopher. So that's why Krishna himself is saying that I am the same person who stays in the heart of every living entity. So how does a yogi see the super soul? He sees within himself the plenary portion of Krishna as Vishnu with 4 hands. knows that Vishnu is non-different from Krishna, and Krishna is the form of Supersoul in everyone's heart, and there is no difference between the innumerable Supersouls present in all the hearts of all living entities. They are that one person who has expanded into all living entities. So there is one quote from Matsya Purana which says, Eka evo paro Vishnu sarvavyapi na samshayah aishwarya drupamekam cha suryavad bahudyate bahudehyate. Eka eva paro Vishnu, the Supreme Lord Vishnu is alone. Sarvavyapi na samshayah, he is certainly all pervading, of this there is no doubt. Aishwarya drupam ekam cha. Aishwarya, by his inconceivable potency, he makes his one form. Rupam ekam, one form, as Suryavad, bahudbihi, like a sun which spreads his rays everywhere. So he makes his one form spread everywhere as Paramatma in all living entities. So what are the similarities between a Krishna conscious person and a yogi engaged in meditation on Supersoul? A yogi in Krishna consciousness, even though he may be engaged in various activities in material world, he remains always situated in Krishna. Like a devotee is acting in Krishna consciousness, is already liberated. Nikhilashu avastasu jivan mukta sa uchyate. And his reference is Narasya Pancharatra. There is a sloka. Dik kaladi anvichinne Krishna cheto vidayacha. Tanmayo bhavati kshiparam jivo brahmani yochayat. By concentrating one's attention on the transcendental form of Krishna, who is all pervading and beyond time and space, one becomes absorbed in thinking of Krishna and then attains the happy state of transcendental association with him. This is quoted in the purport itself. Then, the Krishna consciousness is the highest stage of trance in the yoga practice. That understanding that Krishna is present as Supersoul in everyone's heart makes yogi faultless. Quoting from Gopala Tapani Upanishad, Ekopisan bahuda yo avabhati aishwarya drupamekam cha suryavat bahudyayate. That is the same sloka. This confirms the inconceivable potency of the Lord. All the Lord is one. He is present in innumerable hearts as many. So, like almost a similar sloka from Matsya Purana and Gopala Tapani Upanishad. So, okay, today's last verse. So, the most important aspect of equal vision, it says here, Atmaupamyena sarvatra
Atmopanyena sarvatra
samam pashyatiyo Arjuna
samam pashyatiyo Arjuna
sukam va yadi va dukkam
kumbhayati dukkam
sayogi paramo matah
sayogi paramo matah
Atmaupamyena sarvatra
Atmopanyena sarvatra
samam pashyatiyo Arjuna
samam pashyatiyo Arjuna
sukam va yadi va dukkam
sukam va dukkam
sayogi paramo matah.
sayogi paramo matah.
So he's saying, so he is a perfect yogi, paramo mataha sayogi paramo mataha, who is a perfect yogi, who atmaupamyena sarvatra, in comparison to himself, he sees samam pashyati yo Arjuna. O Arjuna, he sees in true equality of all beings. Sukam va yadi va dukkam, either in their happiness state or in distress state. So he is able to see perfectly in the both states, either in happiness or distress. That is the true equality of all beings. Atmaupamyena sarvatra means in comparison to his own self, he sees the true equality. Samam pashyati yo Arjuna. He sees the true equality of all beings. That's why he is called as Sayogi Paramo Mataha. He is known as a perfect yogi. So how is a Krishna conscious devotee a perfect yogi? Because he is aware of others' happiness and distress by dint of his own personal experience. The cause of distress is forgetfulness of his relationship with God, and the cause of happiness is knowing Krishna to be the supreme enjoyer of all activities. Then why is a yogi a perfect or best philanthropist? Because he knows the cause of distress and he tries to distribute the knowledge of Krishna everywhere. He tries to broadcast the importance of becoming Krishna consciousness. And he is the dearest servitor of the Lord, Nachatasman Manishyesu, 18.69 Bhagavad Gita. And he is the sincerest friend of all living entities because he looks to their welfare. That's why he is known as best philanthropist. So why is a Krishna conscious yogi best? Because he does not desire perfection for his personal benefit, but tries for others also. He does not envy his fellow living beings, and the devotee is trying his best to turn every man towards Krishna consciousness. Such a nice philosophy of life, why it should not be distributed? So a Krishna conscious person cannot sit idly, and he thinks that such a nice philosophy of life, why it should not be distributed? That is his mission. A yogi may be satisfied with his own elevation. He is sitting in a secluded place practicing yoga, elevating himself to transcendental life, that is personal concern. But a devotee is not satisfied simply elevating himself. He is personal. We offer our respects to the Vaishnava, Vancha Kalpatarabhyascha. Therefore, the preacher devotee is the most dearest of the devotee of the Lord. This is stated in Bhagavad Gita. They are going outside, they are preaching, they are meeting opposing elements. Sometimes they are defeated. So sometimes you are able to convince, sometimes disappointed. But the endeavor is I shall go and preach Krishna consciousness is the best service to the Lord. I think this quote is similarly repeated in the earlier section also. But it is appropriate because the devotees are always concerned that they wanted to preach and they wanted to communicate. This is always the mode. So Krishna says they are very dear to me. So Lord is trying to give various opportunities because right now we are not qualified enough to perceive the Lord. You are trying to say, I want to hear the Lord, I want to understand the Lord because Lord is there as Paramatma in every living entity. He is trying to reciprocate, but only thing is I am not ready to understand what his communication is because I am not trained enough to understand or pursue that perspective. That is problem with our understanding here. So this is the subject for today. Any questions or doubts? Hope all of you have understood the concept of what is that equal vision, and hope everybody enjoy the perspective of Krishna consciousness, how a devotee becomes very dear to the Lord and make our life successful by practicing this devotion service as instructed by Krishna through the direct practice as enunciated by Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Hare Krishna. Okay then, thank you. We'll again meet next week. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.